Hello students, welcome to Prime Time by CivicCentre IS. Today we will be covering geography current affairs from the week of 29th September to 5th October 2025. So we have 4 topics in brief, and the topic of importance of this week is flying rivers. And we will also discuss the places in news which are in this week headlines. So coming over to the topics, the first one is Hunga Tonga apai volcano, and the second one is trends in India's dairy sector, and the third one is bridging the generation gap, and the fourth one is the India's first auction of deep sea blocks of critical minerals is the flying rivers. And we will also see the places in news that are Andaman Sea, Musi River, Bhima River, Gulf of Aden, Niger River and Sir Creek. So going to the first topic in brief. So the first one is Hunga Tonga apai volcano. So the year 2023 has recorded the unprecedented temperatures. It is said that the scientists believe one of the reasons for this may be an underwater volcanic eruption of the Hunga Tonga apai volcano in the South Pacific in the 2022. That is 2023లో చాలా కంట్రీస్ ఎక్స్ట్రీమ్ హీట్ని ఎక్స్పీరియన్స్ చేశాయి. సో జనవరి 2022లో జరిగిన హుంగా టోంగా అనే విచ్ ఈస్ ఇన్ పెసిఫిక్ ఓషన్ విచ్ ఈస్ ఇన్ ద సౌత్ పెసిఫిక్, ఈ అండర్ వాటర్ వాల్కెనిక్ ఎరప్షన్ ఒక కారణం, అంటే హీట్ వేవ్స్ రావడానికి ఈ వాల్కెనిక్ ఎరప్షన్ కూడా ఒక కారణం అని సైంటిస్ట్ చెప్తున్నారు. సో దిస్ ఈజ్ అబౌట్ ద న్యూస్. సో విల్ సీ అబౌట్ దిస్ వాల్కెనో, రైట్? So if you see the key concept about this volcano, it is situated in the South Pacific Ocean, which is west of Tonga's main islands. And Pacific plate, Australia plate కింద సబ్డక్ట్ అవడం వల్ల ఈ ఫార్మేషన్ అనేది జరిగింది. సో Pacific plate is being subducted under the Indo-Australian plate. Here the Pacific plate is a oceanic plate and Indo-Australian plate is a continental plate. It is a కాంటినెంటల్ ప్లేట్, రైట్? సో యాక్టివ్ సెసమిక్ జోన్లో ఈ ఐలాండ్స్ ఉన్నాయి కాబట్టి ఫ్రీక్వెంట్ వాల్కనిక్ ఎరప్షన్స్ అనేవి ఎక్కువగా జరుగుతాయి. ఓకే, అండ్ ఇట్ ఈస్ అ సబ్మెరైన్ వాల్కెనో. ఇది ఒక సబ్మెరైన్ వాల్కెనో, అంటే ఓషన్ ఫ్లోర్ పై ఉంటుంది. ఇఫ్ దిస్ ఈస్ అ ఓషన్, సో ఓషన్ ఫ్లోర్ పైన ఈ వాల్కెనో అనేది ఉంటుంది. మ్యాగ్మా సీ వాటర్తో ఎప్పుడైతే మ్యాగ్మా ఎప్పుడైతే సీ వాటర్తో ఇంటరాక్ట్ అవుతుందో సబ్మెరైన్ వాల్కనిక్ ఎరప్షన్స్ అనేవి ఎక్స్ప్లోజివ్గా ఉంటాయి. ఆల్ రైట్. సో అండ్ దెన్ ఇన్ ద ఇయర్ 2022లో జరిగిన ఈ హుంగా టోంగా అpai వాల్కనిక్ ఎరప్షన్స్ వల్ల హ్యూజ్ అమౌంట్ ఆఫ్ వాటర్ వేపర్ వెంట్ అప్ టు ద స్ట్రాటోస్ఫియర్, విచ్ ఈస్ ద లేయర్ అబౌవ్ ద ట్రోపోస్ఫియర్. సో స్ట్రాటోస్ఫియర్ ఆ లేయర్ వరకు వాటర్ వేపర్ అనేది వెళ్ళడం జరిగింది. ఓకే, సో దిస్ వాటర్ వేపర్ యాక్ట్స్ యాజ్ ఎ గ్రీన్ హౌస్ గ్యాస్, దట్ ఈస్ అ GHG గ్యాస్, అంటే హీట్ని ట్రాప్ చేస్తుంది. వాటర్ వేపర్ ఈజ్ నాట్ ఇన్ ద డ్రైవర్స్ సీట్ ఫర్ ద క్లైమేట్ చేంజ్. అండ్ స్ట్రాటోస్ఫియర్లో వాటర్ వేపర్ రేర్గా ఉంటుంది, బట్ వెన్ ఇట్ ఎంటర్స్ ఇట్ కెన్ ఆల్టర్ ద రేడియో యాక్టివ్ బ్యాలెన్స్ అండ్ ఇట్ కెన్ కాజెస్ టెంపరరీ వార్మింగ్ అన్లైక్ సల్ఫర్ ఎరోజోల్స్. అంటే సల్ఫర్ ఎరోజోల్స్ ఏవైతే ఉన్నాయో సల్ఫర్ ఎరోజోల్స్ యూజువల్లీ సన్లైట్ని రిఫ్లెక్ట్ చేసి కూలింగ్ని క్రియేట్ చేస్తుంది సల్ఫర్ ఎరోజోల్స్. కానీ ఈ కేసులో ఈ ఫినామినా అనేది రిఫ్లెక్ట్ అవుతుంది. All right, so this is about the volcano. So in this picture reference you can see there is a Pacific ring of fire in which the Hunga Tonga apai volcano is situated in this Pacific ring of fire. So this is all about this volcano. We'll go into the next topic in brief. It is the trends in India's dairy sector. Now India continues to hold the first position in global milk production, contributing nearly 25% of the world's supply. So India inka first position ni hold chestundi in the global milk production, and it also contributing approximately nearly 25% of the world's supply, right? So if you see the key concept about the dairy sector, so dairy sector India GDP లో 5% కాంట్రిబ్యూట్ చేస్తుంది. రూరల్ ఎకానమీకి బ్యాక్ బోన్ లాగా పనిచేస్తుంది. అండ్ దెన్ 8 crore farmers డైరీ సెక్టార్లో ఎంప్లాయ్మెంట్ పొందుతున్నారు. especially small and marginal farmers. And last 10 years లో milk production 63.56% పెరిగింది, which is supported by the veterinary care, breeds of the cattle, and also cooperative models. So majorly ఈ 3 projects వల్ల 63.56% అనేది milk production పెరిగింది. So if we continue, so if we see the trends in the dairy sector, the first one is there is a rising productivity. That is, the milk output grew from 146.3 million tons in the year 2014 to 15 to 239.3 million tons in the year 2023 to 24 at an annual growth rate of 5.7%. So there is a continual annual growth of approximately 5.7%. And per person milk availability 48% పెరిగింది. అంటే ఇప్పుడు 471 grams per person per day కి పెరిగింది. అండ్ bovine productivity అంటే cattle such as cow, buffalo, etc. యావరేజ్గా పర్ డేకి ఆర్ పర్ ఇయర్కి ఇచ్చే మిల్క్ ఈల్డ్. అండ్ 2014 to 2022లో ప్రొడక్టివిటీ అనేది 27.39% పెరిగింది. ఇది గ్లోబల్గా హైయెస్ట్ గ్రోత్. ఇట్ ఈస్ హైయెస్ట్ ఇన్ ద గ్లోబల్, విచ్ ఈస్ ఎయిడెడ్ బై ద స్కీమ్స్ లైక్ రాష్ట్రీయ గోకుల్ మిషన్. సో ఈ మిషన్ వల్ల ఏమైందంటే దేర్ ఈస్ అ బ్రీడ్ ఇంప్రూవ్మెంట్. సో ఈ ప్రొడక్టివిటీ అనేది ఇంక్రీజ్ అయింది. సో ఈ మిషన్ వల్ల ప్రొడక్టివిటీ అనేది ఇంక్రీజ్ అయింది. లాస్ట్లీ డైరీ సెక్టార్లో 70% ఆఫ్ ది వర్క్ ఫోర్స్ ఆర్ ఉమెన్. దట్ ఈస్ 48,000 ప్లస్ ఉమెన్ వర్క్ లెడ్ కోఆపరేటివ్స్ ఇంక్లూజివ్ గ్రోత్ని స్ట్రెంథెన్ చేస్తున్నాయి. వైట్ రివల్యూషన్ ఎయిమ్స్ టు ఎస్టాబ్లిష్ 75,000 న్యూ డైరీ కోఆపరేటివ్స్. సో సస్టైనబుల్ ప్రాక్టీసెస్ని ప్రమోట్ చేస్తుంది. అండ్ దెన్ మిల్క్ ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్ అంటే ఫార్మర్స్ దగ్గర మిల్క్ని కలెక్ట్ చేయడం ఈజ్ ద మిల్క్ ప్రొక్యూర్మెంట్. ఓకే, సో ఇండియా ఎయిమ్స్ టు ప్రొక్యూర్ ఆర్ కలెక్ట్ 1,700 lakh kilograms by 2028 to 29. So these are the trends in dairy sector. So moving further, so if we see the facts about the dairy sector, India is the world's largest producer of the milk, and Uttar Pradesh is the largest milk producer in India. And if in the dairy sector, the largest agriculture product in India is contributing 5% to the national economy, right? And we'll also discuss, along with the dairy sector, we'll also discuss about the Operation Flood. So National Dairy Development Board launched Operation Flood in the year 1970 under the leadership of Dr. Verghese Kurien. So who was the leader? Dr. Verghese Kurien, right? So what are the objectives? So if we see the objectives of the Operation Flood, the first one is milk production increase చేయడం. And the second one is that rural income ni augment చేయడం. అంటే ఎస్పెషల్లీ ఫర్ ద ఫార్మర్స్ లైక్ స్మాల్ అండ్ మార్జినల్ ఫార్మర్స్ యొక్క రూరల్ ఇన్కమ్స్ ఏవైతే ఉంటాయో వాటిని ఇంక్రీజ్ చేయడం. ఓకే, అండ్ దెన్ ద థర్డ్ వన్ ఈస్ ద ఫెయిర్ ప్రైజెస్ టు ద కన్జ్యూమర్స్. Right, to the consumers. That is, by eliminating the middleman, there should be a fair prices to the consumers. So these are the 3 major objectives under the Operation Flood. Right. So the Operation Flood was in 3 phases. The first phase is in the year 1970 to 80. So here it is linked with the 18 milk sheds with 4 metro cities. And the second phase in the year 1981 to 1985. So in this year it expanded this 13.6 million sheds to 290 urban markets. And the third one and the last phase is between 1985 to 1996. This is the last and third phase under the Operation Flood. So in this phase, there is an improvement in the infrastructure, veterinary services, and women participation. Right, so these are the three phases under the Operation Flood. And lastly, if we see the impact of the Operation Flood, we can say the first one, India became the largest milk producer. India became world's largest milk producer. So this is a major achievement under the Operation Flood. And the second one is that there is a women-led cooperatives which has been increased. And the third one is there is a per capita milk availability which has been also increasing. So these are about the objectives, the three phases and the impact under the Operation Flood. So we'll move to the next slide. So if you see the challenges in the dairy sector, the first one is the regional disparities. That is, there is a high milk productivity in the eastern and northeastern states such as Punjab, Haryana and Uttar Pradesh. And also infrastructure gaps. Infrastructure gaps is also one challenge in the dairy sector. And the second one is the climate vulnerability. That is, heat stress and water scarcity and fodder shortages can impact the feeding availability and milk output. Okay, and then the third one is genetic limitations. Indigenous breeds have the lower yield, and also the cross breeding faces the resistance and also ecological concerns. And the fourth one is the market and pricing issues, such as the middlemen reduced profit margins for the small producers. So this is a major impact. And export and value addition gaps. That is, India exports only 0.1% to the global dairy trade. So these are some of the challenges in the dairy sector. We'll also see the way forward for this. So the first one is inclusive infrastructure expansion. That is, investment in rural chilling plants and milk testing labs and digital procurement systems. So these systems should be inclusive infrastructure. And the second one is that climate resilient dairy models, that is, to promote drought tolerant fodder and water efficient practices and heat resilient shelters. So the fodder for the cattle should be of drought tolerant. So these drought tolerant food crops are to be promoted, and then the water efficient practices. And then third one is genetic upgradation and the technology adoption, such as using mobile apps for the cattle health and milk tracking and farmer training. So there should also be a technology adoption in the dairy sector. And lastly, there should be an export push and value addition. That is, to develop branding for the indigenous dairy products, and also it should align with the global standards, hygiene, packaging and traceability. So India exports only 0.1% of the global dairy trade. So in this scenario, there should be an export push and value addition also. So this is about the dairy sector. We'll move to the further topic. So this is an editorial published in the newspaper The Hindu. Okay, so we'll see the news. So Indialo population dynamics loga మారుతున్నాయి, especially elderly population, that is the aging population పెరగడం వల్ల ఇండియాలో ట్రెడిషనల్గా ఎల్డర్స్కి చాలా రెస్పెక్ట్ అనేది ఉంటుంది. Okay, such as family lo wisdom, values, emotional support. Okay, so the wisdom, values, emotional support ఇచ్చే రోల్లో ఉంటారు. And then there is a demographic shift. Right. Demographic shift ante working population that is 15 to 65 years is considered as a working population. So working population slowga stable అవుతుంది అంటే ఇంక్రీజ్ అవ్వకుండా స్టేబుల్ అవుతుంది. ఓకే, సో డెమోగ్రాఫిక్ షిఫ్ట్ అంటే వర్కింగ్ పాపులేషన్ స్లోగా స్టేబుల్ అవుతుంది, ఏజింగ్ పాపులేషన్ అనేది పెరుగుతుంది. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద డెమోగ్రాఫిక్ షిఫ్ట్. And normally, aging is considered as a challenge, especially in the pensions, healthcare, and social support system. But other side of the aging is that it is also an opportunity. That is, it is to build stronger families and community care, value-based learning. So from the elders, there is a stronger build family connections, there is a community care, and there is also value-based learning systems. So this is opportunity, which is the other side of the elders, that is a aging population. So if you see the key concept in use, presently India's 10% population is being occupied with the 60 plus age group. That is, by the year 2050, it can reach up to 20%. It can reach up to 20%. So the aging can impact identity. That is, the elders can feel less valued. And there is an aging impact, that is identity. That is, elders feel less valuable. And then there is a family connections, and then shifting in the traditional roles, and support systems such as healthcare, pensions, and caregiving. So this can impact the aging population. So if we discuss further, there is an emotional disconnect. That is, the youth may admire elders' wisdom and respect, but elders feel lonely, they feel dependent, and they also feel unheard or ignored, right? And 78% of the youth think that elders ki digital interest paina, ante digital technologies paina interest ledani 78% of the youth think in that way. But 71% of the elders say that the youth impatience valla sarigga నేర్చుకోలేకపోతున్నాం. ఓకే, డిజిటల్ టెక్నాలజీస్ అనేవి యూత్ ఇంపేషన్స్ వల్ల నేర్చుకోలేకపోతున్నామని 71% ఆఫ్ ది ఎల్డర్స్ ఆర్ బీయింగ్ నోటిఫైడ్, రైట్? సో అకార్డింగ్ టు సర్వే బై హెల్ప్ ఏజ్ ఇండియా, 54% of the elders feel neglected and emotionally sidelined. So this survey was conducted among 5,700 respondents across 10 cities. Okay. So if we see way forward for this, the first one is the shared aspirations. That is, so both the generations want the deeper emotional bonding and togetherness. So both the youth and the elders want the deeper emotional bonding and the togetherness. And the second one is the mutual exchange. That is, elders offer wisdom and childcare, and youth guide through technology and modernity. And lastly, action steps such as digital inclusion, which includes youth patience, and tailored learning for elders, such as simple apps and vernacular tools. Right. And also community-based models such as the model should go beyond nuclear families, and there should also be shared caregiving beyond nuclear families and shared caregiving. And lastly, education to build empathy towards the aging, and also promote the age literacy in schools and media. So these are the way forward for the bridging the generation gap, that is a shared aspirations, mutual exchange, and action steps such as youth nunchi patience anedi kavali, and then the elders want the tailored learning programs such as the simple apps and the vernacular tools, and also combined with the community models and education to learn empathy and age literacy, right? So India's first auction of deep sea blocks of critical minerals. So there is a first auction of deep sea block of critical minerals. So India for the very first time deep sea mineral blocks ni auction chesindi. Right. So these blocks are rich in critical minerals such as cobalt, copper, manganese, nickel. Okay, so these are some of the critical minerals. And E minerals are important for the electric vehicles, defense equipment, and renewable energy such as in the solar panels. Okay. has been delayed indefinitely following a poor response from bidders. అంటే బిడ్డర్స్ నుంచి పూర్ రెస్పాన్స్ రావడం వల్ల ఫైనల్గా డెడ్ లైన్ లేకుండా పోస్ట్పోన్ అనేది చేశారు. సో దిస్ ఇస్ ఆల్ అబౌట్ ద న్యూస్. విల్ సీ వాట్ ఆర్ ద క్రిటికల్ మినరల్స్, రైట్? Okay, so critical minerals are those minerals which are essential for economic development and national security. Okay, for a country like India, these are the critical minerals are considered as a backbone for the future industry. Okay, and geologists define that mineral is a homogeneous, naturally occurring substance with a indefinable internal structure. అంటే సహజంగా ఫామ్ అవుతుంది, దట్ ఈస్ ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ల్యాబ్ ప్రొడ్యూస్డ్. ఓకే, ఇట్ ఈస్ నాట్ ల్యాబ్ ప్రొడ్యూస్డ్ అండ్ యూనిఫామ్గా ఉంటుంది, హోమోజీనియస్ యూనిఫామ్గా ఉంటుంది అండ్ ఇంటర్నల్ స్ట్రక్చర్ అనేది క్లియర్గా ఉంటుంది. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద definition of the mineral which is given by the geologist, right? So in the year 2023 government of India released 30 critical minerals for India. అంటే country to country critical minerals అనేది వేరీ అవుతుంది. For India there are 30 critical minerals which is announced by the government of India to boost Atmanirbhar Bharat for strategic sectors. So the 30 critical minerals are antimony, beryllium, bismuth, cobalt, copper, gallium, germanium, and graphite, hafnium, indium, lithium, molybdenum, niobium, nickel, and PGEs, platinum group elements, and followed by phosphorus, potash, REE. It is nothing but rare earth elements. Okay, rhenium, silicon, strontium, tantalum, tellurium, tin, titanium, tungsten, vanadium, zirconium, selenium, and cadmium. So these are the 30 critical minerals, right? So if we see the applications of the fiber opticals, electric vehicles, smartphones, and also defense equipment and renewable energy system such as solar panels and also wind turbines. Okay, so these are some of the applications of critical minerals. And moving to next one, the India's critical minerals identification process 5 crore objectives. So the first one is supporting economic growth, competitiveness and the job creation. And the second one is driving research, innovation and exploration. And the third one is enhancing global security and partnership with the allies. And the fourth one is the raw material security for state-of-the-art defense. And lastly, fifth one, it is promoting climate action and environmental protection. So these are the 5 core objectives which are addressed in the critical mineral identification. So we'll go into the next topic in news, right?
Hello everyone. As you all know, Civil Services Prime Time is one of its kind initiative where we are teaching the students current affairs related to that particular subject one day at a time. అంటే ఒక వారంలో జరిగిన కరెంట్ అఫైర్స్ అన్ని ఒక సబ్జెక్ట్ కి సంబంధించి మేము ఒక రోజులో చెప్తున్నాం. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ఆల్ బికాస్ ఆఫ్ ద రివర్స్ ఇంజనీరింగ్ టెక్నిక్. బికాస్ మీరు ప్రతి వీడియో చూసినట్టయితే ఎండ్ లో ప్రీవియస్ ఇయర్ క్వశ్చన్స్ ప్రిలిమ్స్ చేస్తున్నాము, అలాగే ఒక క్వశ్చన్ మెయిన్స్ చేస్తాం. సో in order to get daily updates at 7 o'clock sharp as we are doing it, subscribe చేసుకోండి, అలాగే బెల్ కూడా క్లిక్ చేయండి సో దట్ 7 o'clock కి మీకు ఇమీడియట్ గా నోటిఫికేషన్ వస్తుంది.
So the topic of importance is the flying rivers, right? So Amazon flying rivers weaken with tree loss. Scientists warn of worsening droughts. అంటే సైంటిస్ట్ ఏమని చెప్తున్నారంటే అమెజాన్ రెయిన్ ఫారెస్ట్లో డీఫారెస్ట్రేషన్ వల్ల ఫ్లయింగ్ రివర్స్ అంటే మాయిశ్చర్ క్యారింగ్, సో దీస్ ఆర్ మాయిశ్చర్ క్యారింగ్ ఎయిర్ కరెంట్స్ వీక్ అవుతున్నాయి. ఓకే, డీఫారెస్ట్రేషన్ వల్ల ఫ్లయింగ్ రివర్స్ అనేవి వీక్ అవుతున్నాయి. సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద వార్నింగ్ ఫ్రమ్ ద సైంటిస్ట్. అండ్ ఈ ఫ్లయింగ్ రివర్స్ రెయిన్ని థౌజండ్స్ ఆఫ్ కిలోమీటర్స్ వరకు ట్రావెల్ అనేది చేస్తాయి. అండ్ దెన్ ఇప్పుడు డీఫారెస్ట్రేషన్ వల్ల వాటర్ సైకిల్ అనేది డిస్టర్బ్ అవుతుంది. ఇఫ్ దిస్ కంటిన్యూ, ఒకవేళ ఈ సిచ్యువేషన్ కనుక కంటిన్యూ అవుతే ఓకే, సౌత్ వెస్టర్న్ అమెజాన్లో డ్రాట్స్ పెరిగి రిస్క్ పెరిగే ఛాన్స్ అనేది ఉంది. అండ్ దెన్ లాంగ్ టర్మ్లో ఇఫ్ దిస్ కంటిన్యూస్ ఇన్ ద లాంగ్ టర్మ్, సో ఈ ఏరియాలో రెయిన్ఫాల్ ఏదైతే ఉందో ఈ రెయిన్ఫాల్ నుంచి సవన్నా ఆర్ ద గ్రాస్ ల్యాండ్స్ that is with the fewer trees and less rainfall. There is a fewer trees and less rainfall. సో రెయిన్ఫాల్ నుంచి మెజారిటీ రెయిన్ఫాల్ నుంచి సవర్ణ ల్యాండ్స్గా మారే అవకాశం అనేది ఉంది. ఓకే, సో దిస్ ఈస్ ద న్యూస్. విల్ గో ఇన్ టు ద నెక్స్ట్ లైన్, రైట్? So if we see the key concept in news about the flying rivers అంటే ఏంటి మనం చూస్తే, so these are the flying rivers are the massive water vapor air currents. Amazon basin లో ట్రీస్ evapotranspiration చేయడం వల్ల జనరేట్ అవుతుంది, which flow across the Amazon basin. Okay, సో ఈ న్యాచురల్ సిస్టమ్ లాటిన్ అమెరికాలో 88 కంట్రీస్లో కవర్ చేస్తుంది. 8 countries such as Brazil, Peru, Colombia, and then Bolivia, Ecuador, okay, and then Venezuela, and then Guyana, and then Suriname. So these are the 8 countries which are covered in this natural system, right? And largely it stems from the transpiration, that is, it gets the moisture from the Amazon trees, that is through transpiration, or we can also say evapotranspiration. Okay, and the second one is the Atlantic Ocean evaporation. So this is how the flying rivers get the moisture from the Amazon trees through the evapotranspiration and Atlantic Ocean. So learning more about it. So now if we see the formation of the flying rivers, so the first one is that Amazon lo trees soil నుంచి వాటర్ అబ్జార్బ్ చేస్తాయి, అండ్ దెన్ తర్వాత ఆ వాటర్ని ఎయిర్లో రిలీజ్ అవుతుంది, దట్ ఈస్ త్రూ evapotranspiration. అండ్ ఈ మాయిశ్చర్ స్కైలో ఎయిర్ బోర్న్ కరెంట్స్ లాగా ఫామ్ అవుతుంది, అండ్ లైక్ ఇన్విజిబుల్ రివర్స్. ఓకే, సో మోస్ట్లీ ఫ్లయింగ్ రివర్స్ సౌత్ అమెరికాలో ట్రావెల్ చేస్తాయి. ఓకే, సౌత్ అమెరికాలో ట్రావెల్ చేస్తాయి, and thousands of kilometers వరకు ట్రావెల్ చేస్తాయి. And because of there is an occurrence of the rainfall up to distance region like southern Brazil, Argentina and Andes, it is considered as a rivers in the sky. Okay, so we can see the cycle of the flying rivers over here. Okay, moving to the next slide. So why the flying rivers matters? Why it matters, ఎందుకంత ఇంపార్టెంట్ అంటే it is crucial for the agriculture, it is crucial for drinking water, and then climate stability across South America. Okay, and then deforestation disrupts this cycle, that is it by reducing the rainfall and increasing the drought risk. ఈ deforestation వల్ల natural cycle అనేది disturb అవుతుంది. Okay, and as a result flying rivers are being weakening, which is leading to the droughts in Peru and fires in the Amazon, and that is the forest fires in the Amazon region, and also hydropower failures in the Ecuador country. So these are the factors which are observed when the flying rivers are weak. So learning more about it. So now atmospheric rivers. Okay, so South America paina unde rivers ni flying rivers అని అంటాం, and then global ga it is termed as atmospheric rivers. Okay, so atmospheric rivers ante long column of the water vapor thousands of miles వరకు ట్రావెల్ చేస్తాయి, and then heavy rains ni dump అనేవి చేస్తాయి. Okay, ఈ rivers, so as a long column of the water vapor lifts over the mountains, it cools down and it condenses, it produces a precipitation such as rain and snowfall. Okay, so in this picture reference you can see that the water vapor lifts over the mountains. So you can see there is a cooling of the atmosphere, and then it condenses, it produces rainfall such as snow and rain. And now how do they work? Moisture oceans nunchi evaporate avutundi, especially tropical oceans, and then jet streams, which are the strong winds. So ee vapor ni continents మీద carry చేస్తాయి, ఈ jet streams across the continents ki carry చేస్తాయి. And then lastly, when this vapor hit the land or the mountain, it condenses and thereby it precipitates in the form of rain or the snow. So this is about the atmospheric rivers. So learning more about it. So if we see the features and then flying rivers of the Amazon and then atmospheric rivers of the global. So the first one is the origin. So the origin of the flying rivers is being observed on the Amazon rain forest regions, and then the atmospheric rivers origin is on the tropical oceans. If we see the second feature, that is a moisture source, it is from the transpiration from vegetation, that is the evapotranspiration, and also Atlantic Ocean evaporation. Rivers, it is the ocean evaporation. And the third feature, it is the scale, that is it is regional, that is in the 8 continents, 8 countries పైన ఈ ఫ్లయింగ్ రివర్స్ అనేది కనిపిస్తుంది. And this atmospheric rivers is on the global level. And if you see the impact, so this is the impact, that is the seasonal rainfall and the agriculture. And if you see the impact of the atmospheric rivers, it is the extreme weather and flood conditions followed by the snow. Okay, and if we see the threat to the flying rivers is the deforestation. Okay, and the threat to the atmospheric rivers is the climate change. So these are the features with respect to the flying rivers and the atmospheric rivers. So if we see about the Amazon rainforest, it is nearly a home to the 5th world's largest land species. Okay, and it is the largest tropical rainforest on the earth, spanning 9 countries such as బ్రెజిల్లో 60% అనేది ఉంటుంది, అండ్ దెన్ పెరు, కొలంబియా, బొలీవియా, ఈక్వెడార్, వెనిజులా, గయానా, సురినేమ్ అండ్ ఫ్రెంచ్ గినియా. సో దీస్ ఆర్ ద 9 countries, and then it covers approximately 5.5 million square kilometers, that is roughly 1% of the atmosphere, and it harbors the 10% of the known wildlife species, right? And lastly, it also considered as lungs of the planet for its role in absorbing the carbon dioxide and releasing the oxygen. So this Amazon rainforest are considered as the lungs of the planet, and it releases 20 billion tons of the water into the atmosphere per day, that is the water vapor into the atmosphere per day. Okay, so this is all about the flying rivers and Amazon rainforest. So we'll move to the places in news, right? So the first one is the Andaman Sea. So our Honorable Union Minister Hardeep Singh Puri announced that there are reserves of natural gas in the Andaman Sea. That is, e-discovery energy security lo చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్, ఎనర్జీ సెక్యూరిటీలో చాలా ఇంపార్టెంట్. అండ్ దెన్ ఫ్యూచర్లో ఈ రిజర్వ్స్ వల్ల డొమెస్టిక్ గ్యాస్ ప్రొడక్షన్ అనేది, it is observed that there is a decrease in the import dependency of the natural reserves. So this is all about the news. So we'll see about the location of the Andaman Sea. So the first one is, it is semi-enclosed marginal sea in the northeastern Indian Ocean. So here you can see the Andaman Sea. And then the boundaries are the Bay of Bengal, so Bay of Bengal, and Strait of Malacca. So here it is the Strait of Malacca, and Myanmar and Indonesia. So these are the boundaries of the Andaman Sea, right? It lies on the tectonically active Sunda plate. It is bordered by the Indian plate and Australian plate. Okay, so the India plate is being subducted under the Australian plate. So it is being subducted under the Indian plate is subducted under the Australian plate. And there is a seismic activity, that is frequent earthquakes and volcanic eruptions takes place due to the plate convergence. Plate convergence, it is nothing but the plates coming together. Okay, so there is observance of the Andaman trench. So here there is a Andaman trench, okay, which is formed by the subduction of the Indian plate beneath the Eurasian plate, and also lastly it supports the extensive coral reef ecosystem. So this is all about the Andaman Sea. We'll go to the next place in news, which is Musi River. So the heavy rains in Telangana triggered a surge in Musi River, that is Osman Sagar and Himayat Sagar reservoirs release the excess water. So ఈ రిలీజ్ వల్ల ఏమైందంటే, it has been submerged the low lying areas, bus stations. So in the news you can see the MGBS bus station, right? and residential colonies, so low-lying areas gani, bus stations gani, residential colonies, so these are being submerged because of the excess water released by the reservoirs such as Osman Sagar and Himayat Sagar. So if you see the places in news, which is about the Musi river, so the origin of the Musi river is at the Anantagiri hills. Anantagiri hills are in near to the Vikarabad in the Telangana state. Okay, so it flows from the west to east direction, traversing through the Deccan Plateau. Okay, so if you see the flow path of this Musi river, it passes through the Hyderabad and through Rangareddy, Nalgonda, and it merges with the Krishna river at Vadapalli, which is in Nalgonda, right? So this Musi river is considered as the Hyderabad's lifeline, that is, it flows through the heart of the city. And it has a reservoirs on its river such as Osman Sagar and the Himayat Sagar. And the restoration plans include such as Musi Riverfront Development Project underway, okay, which is in underway. And the landmarks along the banks are the Charminar, Salajan Museum and Osmania General Hospital. So these are the major landmarks along the river, along the Musi river. Okay, so if you see the tributaries of the Musi river, so the EC, Kondapur stream, Begumpet Nala and Banjara Nala. So these are the right bank tributaries. And Musa, Ambarpet Nala, Himayatnagar feeder channels are the left bank tributaries. These are the left bank tributaries. Okay, so Begumpet Nala, it is the urban drain from central Hyderabad. And Banjara Nala is in and around the Banjara Hills, right? So these are the right bank tributaries and left bank tributaries of the Musi river. So going to the next places in news, which is the Bhima river. Okay, so there is also continuous heavy rains in Kala Buragi and the parts of Maharashtra, which led the sharp rise in the water levels in the Bhima river, which triggers the severe flooding in several villages. So this is all about the news. So we'll see about the Bhima river. So the origin of the Bhima river is in Bhima Shankar Hills, which is in Western Ghats of the Maharashtra, in the Maharashtra state. So the flow path is that it passes through the Maharashtra and Karnataka and then through Telangana. So it joins Krishna river near Raichur, which is in Karnataka state. And if you see the tributaries of this Bhima river, the left bank tributaries are Indrayani, Moola, Mutta, Good and Bhama. So these are the left bank tributaries, and the right bank tributaries are the Nira, Man, Sina and Bori. So these are the right bank tributaries, right? And then Bhima lift irrigation project. So this supports agriculture in the dry zones. Okay, and then the major landmark along this river is the Bhima Shankar temple, which is a Jyotirlinga. Okay, and then the major urban centers along this river are the Sholapur and Kalaburagi. Okay, so this is all about the Bhima river. We'll go into the next places in news, which is the Gulf of Aden. So, a suspected missile strike likely from the Yemen's Houthi rebels caused a vessel to catch fire in the Gulf of Aden recently. So, this attack by the Houthi rebels is considered as a serious threat for the maritime security. Okay, so we'll see more about the Gulf of Aden. Okay, the Gulf is named as Aden, a port city on the Yemen coast. So here you can see the Arabian Peninsula. So this is the Yemen. So there is a port city called Aden on the Yemen's coast. Okay, so if we see about the definition of the Gulf is that it is a large body of water which is surrounded by the land with narrow mouth opening. So this is the definition of the Gulf, and it is larger than the bay. It is larger than bay. Okay. So it lies, that is the Gulf of Aden lies between the Arabian Peninsula, that is the Yemen. So this is the Arabian Peninsula. So this is the Arabian Peninsula and the Horn of Africa. So this is considered as the Horn of Africa, right? So Horn of Africa le ye countries untai? Somalia and Djibouti. Okay. So it lies between the Arabian Peninsula, that is the Yemen, and Horn of Africa, that is Somalia and Djibouti. And then it connects Red Sea to the Arabian Sea via the Babel and Mandab Strait. Okay, so it connects, so this Gulf of Aden connects to the Red Sea through the ఇక్కడ ఒక మీకు ఒక చిన్న స్ట్రేట్ కనిపిస్తుంది which is a Babel and Mandab Strait. Okay, and then it borders Yemen, Djibouti and Arabian Sea. Okay, Yemen, Djibouti and Arabian Sea. Okay, and then the major ports are the Aden, which is in Yemen, and Berbera and Bosaso, which are in Somalia, and then the global trade. So it is the part of the Suez Canal shipping route. So here you can see, you can observe there is a Suez Canal. So it is a part of the Suez Canal shipping route. And this Gulf of Aden is rich in corals, fish and invertebrates. Invertebrates such as shrimp, crab, starfish, okay, sea urchins. So these are some of the examples of the invertebrates. So this is all about the Gulf of Aden. So we'll see the next places in news, which is the Niger River. So there is an accident on the Niger rivers. So this the possibilities of this accident on the Niger rivers include, the first one is the overcrowding as it is carrying the people, the passengers, and the second possibility is that lack in safety issues. So these are the possibilities of the accident on the Niger River. So we'll see what is a Niger River. Okay, so if we see the location of the Niger River, the origin of this river is in the Guyana Highlands, right? So it is the third longest river in the Africa after the Nile and the Congo rivers. And there is also a Niger Delta, that is, it is the largest river delta in Africa, and it features the fifth largest mangrove forest on the earth, right? So the tributaries of this Niger rivers include Benue, Bani, Kaduna and Sokoto, Nun and Forkada. So these are the tributaries of the Niger River, and it is also called as Boomerang River due to its serpentine shape. So here you can see the shape, that is a serpentine shape. So it is also known as the Boomerang River. The Niger River is also known as the Boomerang River. And there is a Niger Bend, that is the northern part of the river is closest to the major river and source of the water to the Sahara Desert. So this is the Niger Bend. Okay, right. And the cities situated along the Niger River are the Bamako in Mali, Niamey in Niger and Otnisha in Nigeria. So these are the cities situated along the Niger River. So moving further about the Sir Creek. Okay, so October 2nd na our Honorable Union Defense Minister Rajnath Singh Pakistan ki strong warning ivvadam jarigindi. So over the Sir Creek region. Okay, he said that India's stance on the territorial integrity is non-negotiable, right? So India Pakistan tensions valla, so Indian Pakistan tensions ane high unnai kabatti, so such as Falgam attacks, right, and followed by Operation Sindoor. So this is a military response from the Indian side. And the third one is the Asian Cup cricket tournament, that no cup and no handshake is being observed in this tournament between the cricket matches of India and Pakistan. Okay, so if we see more about the Sir Creek, okay, firstly it is a disputed boundary between India and Pakistan. Okay, so in this picture reference you can see there is a boundary. Okay, it is a disputed boundary between the India and Pakistan, right? The original name of the Sir Creek is Ban Ganga. It got its present name after the British official, right? So it is a 110 kilometers long estuary located in the Run of Kutch between the Gujarat of India and Sindh of Pakistan, right? So if we see about the dispute, so there is an agreement between the Sindh, that is British India, and the ruler of Kutch in the year 1914, and followed by, after partition, this area became a border zone between the India and Pakistan, And later, Pakistan claimed that this boundary lies on the eastern bank of the Sir Creek, which would give the entire creek to the Pakistan. So, eastern bank of the Sir Creek totally belongs to the Pakistan అని claim చేసుకుంటుంది. But India claimed that the boundary should follow the Talweg principle, that is meaning the mid-channel line of the navigable water body. So, this is India's claim. So, if we see the previous year questions, so the question given that leaf litter decomposes faster than in any other biome, and as a result of the soil surface is often almost bare. And apart from trees, the vegetation is largely composed of plant forms that reach up to the canopy by climbing the trees or growing on epiphytes, that is rooted on the upper branches of the trees. So this is most likely the description of. Okay, so given options are the coniferous forest, dry deciduous forest, mangrove forest and tropical rainforest. So now if we see the tropical rainforest, okay, so it is warm and humid. It is warm and humid. That is, the conditions promote rapid decay of the dead plants. There is a rapid decay of the dead plants. And as decomposition is very fast, nutrients return quickly to the soil. Okay. And it is these nutrients are being reused by the plants. So if you see the characteristics of the tropical rainforest, the first one is a dense canopy layer. There is a dense canopy layer, right? And the second one is there is a observance of the high biodiversity. And the third one is there is a poor soil due to rapid nutrient absorption. Okay. And the fourth one is the rainfall will be approximately 2000 to 3000 mm annually. This is annually. And lastly, the fifth one is the average temperature will be observed 27 degrees to 30 degree latitude. So having seen the characteristics of the tropical rainforest, so the option is the tropical rainforest. So if you see the next question, which is observed in the year 2024. So the question given with reference to the sectors of the Indian economy, consider the following pairs. That is, there is an economy activity and followed by the paired by the sector. So the first one is storage of agriculture produce paired with secondary sector, and dairy farm paid by the primary sector, and then mineral exploration paid with the tertiary sector, and then weaving cloth paid with the secondary sector. So how many of the pays given above are correctly matched? So among the options, option B, only 2 is correct. So moving to the next previous year question, which is observed in the year 2024. So the question is about the consider the following: pyroclastic debris, ash and dust, nitrogen compounds and sulfur compounds. So how many of the above products are volcanic eruptions? Given the options. Okay. So among the given options, all 4 are correct. That is the pyroclastic debris, ash and dust, nitrogen compounds and sulfur compounds are the products of the volcanic eruptions. And there are also minor amounts of the volcanic eruptions such as, okay, chlorine, hydrogen and then argon. So these are the minor amounts which are being observed in the volcanic eruptions, right? So moving to the next question. With reference to India, consider the following statements. So the first statement says that monazite is a source of the rare earths, and the second statement says that monazite contains thorium, and the third statement says monazite occurs naturally in the entire Indian coastal sands in India, and fourth statement says in India government bodies only can process or export monazite. So which of the statements given above are correct? So among the given options, option B, 1, 2, 4 are correct. So the monazite is a source of the rare earth. Yes, it is a source of the rare earth. So if we see about the monazite, it is a reddish brown phosphate mineral, right? Reddish brown phosphate mineral. That is, it is significant source of the rare earth element. And if you see the second statement that it contains thorium, yes, it contains thorium. It is a radioactive element. And the third statement says it occurs naturally in the entire Indian coastal system. This statement is wrong. It does not naturally occur in the entire Indian coastal system, but it is been observed in the Tamil Nadu, and then Kerala, and then Andhra Pradesh, Odisha, and Maharashtra. Okay. And the fourth statement is that in India, government bodies only can process or export monoxide, which is a correct option. So this is about the fourth question. Moving on to the next question. So this question is observed in the year 2005. So where is the volcanic mountain Mount St. Helens located? So among the given options, option D, United States of America, is the correct answer. So if we see about this Mount St. Helens, it is a active volcano. So it is a active volcano. It is part of the Pacific Ring of Fire. Pacific Ring of Fire, right? And it is a stratovolcano. It is a stratovolcano which is formed by the layer by layer form in a volcano, which is a stratovolcano, and it erupts explosively. This type of volcano erupts, that is a stratovolcano erupts explosively. So this is about the Mount Helens. So coming over to the mains question. So this question is observed in the year 2025. The key concept is the climate change. Okay. Briefly introduce about climate change and sea level rise as a global environment challenge. And second, explain as how sea level rising leads to the coastal erosion, submergence of the land, and salt water intrusion. That is the coastal erosion, it damages the infrastructure and ecosystem, and submergence of the land, that is low-lying areas, it threatens the low-lying areas' habitability. And sea water intrusions, that is, it contaminates fresh water. It contaminates fresh water, right? Fresh water and farmlands, right? And also mention impacts such as loss of homes, livelihood, cultural heritage, and freshwater contaminations. And also emphasize there is an urgent need of the global cooperation and climate change, and financial and technological support and adoption. And lastly, conclude with a strong line on preserving sovereignty and survival of these nations. This is about the mains question. And also send your answers to the response at CivicCentre.in. We will be evaluating your answers as well. So this is all about the geographic current affairs. I hope you have understood. Thank you.
CivicCentre IAS is offering Telangana Group 1 Prelims cum Mains classes as well as Andhra Pradesh Group 1 Prelims cum Mains classes in English medium for a period of 8 to 10 months. This also covers the complete NCERT textbooks and statewide textbooks. So what are you waiting for? Learn through reverse engineering technique today. Admissions are in progress. Join now. Visit our website. Thank you.